Let's see how we can integrate a language model into our application using FastAPI, which is an asynchronous gateway interface web framework that enables you to build APIs and backend web servers. Being an ASGI framework means that it can leverage concurrency to process web requests. First of all, we have to clone the code from my GitHub repo, copy the link, and then jump into your terminal and store it wherever you want on your computer. For example, in my desktop, I will store it. Then I will get clone, then paste the link and enter. Because I have it, so I will not download the code again. This is the code that you will have after cloning the code. This is the files, and this is the dependencies that we have to install it. FastAPI standard, UV corn, and torch transformers streamlit. I have the dependencies as well, but I will show you how you can install it. Make sure that you are inside the FastAPI folder and then pip. Also, I like to have virtual environment for each project. You can have virtual environment like this, Python, then -m, v, and v, and then name it whatever you want, the folder that you want to save all the dependencies in it. V and v, this is the conventional name. And then you can activate the virtual environment by source, the name of the folder, then bin, then activate. And the terminal will change into your virtual environment. Now you can install the dependencies by pip install -r requirements.txt, and all the dependencies will be available in your virtual environment folder. Let me now show you a little bit how you can use large models like Tiny Llama with FastAPI. So you can download and use a language model within your application with a few lines of code. In our example, we will use Tiny Llama model that has 1.1 billion parameters and it's pretend on 3 trillion tokens. To integrate Tiny Llama into your application, you can use the Hugging Face Transformers library. You will also need to install the PyTorch deep learning framework by installing the Torch package. As I mentioned here in our dependencies, we have it. This is the code. You may ask yourself why I'm using Google Colab if we have the full code in our computer. This is just for illustration. So this is the code. You have the models.py. Here you download and load the language model from Hugging Face. This is the code related to downloading and loading the language model, Tiny Llama. So the most important part of the code is how to serve the language model via FastAPI endpoint. Once you have the dependencies installed and now you are ready to start your own web server. And you have this code main.py with the endpoint generate /text. To start the server, you need to use this command in your terminal. Let's copy it and go back to the terminal. Make sure that you are enabled the virtual environment and then copy and paste the command. And now the server will be started. You can visit it by using this URL in your browser. Because we don't have endpoint for the root, but you can use the docs. This is our endpoint, generate /text, and you can try it out here using the prompt, for example, what is FastAPI? And then execute. It will take some time till the language model Tiny Llama is downloaded and served on your computer. because I'm using CPU here, not GPU, to illustrate how you can serve API using FastAPI. And as you can see that once the FastAPI service is up and running, you can visit the Swagger documentation page with this link to test your new endpoint. From the Swagger docs, you can send requests to your API to quickly test an endpoint. The docs page will also take care of sending the correct request headers, methods, and parameters. Now let's see how you can connect FastAPI with a web browser instead of using the terminal. I will show you that using Stremlit package. Stremlit allows you to easily create a chat user interface for testing and prototyping with models. You can install the Stremlit package using pip. So just if you use this command pip install, Stremlit, you will have it, but we already installed it because of the dependencies in our code base. Then you can start your Stremlit client application by this command, Stremlit run client.py. And the code is already here. This is the client.py, and here where I am calling the API to send a GET request to the FastAPI server at the local host 8000 with this endpoint, generate /text. Let's have another terminal page and you can run it. And we are not in the specific path. You need to go to the path of the code, and then I save it here in my document. So this is the folders and the files of the code. Now you can run Stremlit run client.py. Once you run it, you will have the web browser that you can interact with the language model instead of having the terminal and the Swag documentation page. So now let's ask, what is FastAPI? Then you have to wait till the language model is downloaded, its weights and its parameters. This will take a while. Usually we don't use this in production, but this is for development. And then you will have the response back in your web browser. And this is the response of the language model, Tiny Llama. FastAPI is a Python web framework that simplifies the development of APIs and so on.